All right, welcome to Cafe Chronicles.
Thanks for inviting me.
Tonight we have Rodger Penzabene. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Trying to keep up with growing the business, growing the station.
Yeah, and that business is WJZZ.
Yeah, WJZZ brand, WJZZ Detroit Jazz Radio and Entertainment.
So
we do the radio traditionally, and now we branched out into doing events, live concerts, promo parties, charity events. So that's with the entertainment. Plus, we incorporated things we do on social media, digital publishing. So just entertainment.
Okay. And is that fairly new, the entertainment part of that?
No, the podcast portion, the streaming podcast, we've been doing that since 2017. And then we've been doing the live events probably since 2019.
Okay.
So we're just getting off into putting more stuff up on social media regularly, and about to launch the digital publication, a magazine.
Oh, nice.
So we started.
That's great.
We started it out as just like a little survey type newsletter with a couple little tidbit articles and stuff. So just to test the platform that we're using for the magazine. So now we kind of got the bugs figured out in that, and now we're going to do a full-fledged.
All right. So what are you covering? Are you covering the
jazz culture?
Jazz in Detroit or just
just
everywhere?
Around the world.
Yeah.
So we have a section that's planned out just for Detroit and metro area. And then so we're always going to have something for the home team. But then it's just
you gotta, right?
Yeah. And then it's just to connect and promote jazz globally. So, and then we say jazz culture because it's not just about the music. It's about it's a little bit of fashion in there. It's a little bit about current affairs. Just because jazz is, for us, we promote it as a lifestyle, not just a genre of music.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
So now, when you think of jazz fashion, let's go with that. You think? I mean, going back to
we could go all the way back to Duke Ellington,
right?
Cab Calloway.
Sure.
Two different styles.
Yeah.
Duke was more coiffed and elegant.
Are you thinking like zoot suits and that kind of thing?
And Cab was what was called trend fashion. That's what we would call it now.
Okay.
But that was the wild side. It was zoot suits, and Cab was a different type of a guy. He was a more flamboyant, wild kind of guy than Duke Ellington. And then if you put Count Basie in there, he was kind of like a casual, chic kind of guy, but he always had like a jacket and pocket square, some kind of cap or whatever. So he was dressed, but he wasn't as formal and elegant as Duke, but he wasn't as flamboyant as Cab. But then you go to Miles, who was just like a fashion plate, latest and whatever. So, and no matter what era of jazz, if you count the beatniks, the mods, the avant-garde, the Afro movement with the dashikis and the beads and all that, jazz has always been a part of fashion. They always been fashion forward.
Like the Miles thing changed.
Right.
He changed quite a bit over his career.
He was the quintessential jazz man. It wasn't just about his music. It was about other people's music that he incorporated into his. It was about the fashion. It was about the mood. It was about he was particular about the type of places he played. So it's all, the jazz audience should be more sophisticated, I think. So I think you should expect more from a jazz audience. Like, for instance, if you come to the Jazz Cafe, right, for a concert, I think you should dress. You should at least wear, men should at least wear a sport jacket or something like that. And women, you know, I think it should be a little more dressy, a little more sophisticated.
So what do you think like today's jazz fashion is? Do you think there is?
You mean
the contemporary
clothes wise, or you mean just styles of artists?
What today's fashion like?
Oh, I mean, I think
jazz. I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's I don't think, to my knowledge, I'm not in the fashion world, but I just think overall the jazz fan base or jazz connoisseurs typically are more sophisticated. And I'm talking about people who really appreciate jazz, right? Not the casual listener who will go out to a concert or whatever just to have something to do, and they really don't know the history of the band or anything like that. They just, maybe that's the person that's popular or whatever. So, but I mean, I'm talking about serious people who appreciate the art. I think they tend to be a little more sophisticated. They usually be a little more mature acting, a little more settled. They appreciate art in general, not just jazz. So they seem, you know, they usually be in a certain economic base, a certain academic base. So not everybody, but I'm saying that core group. We want to cultivate audience, a client base for ourselves. That's the person I just described.
Right.
So I have on jeans now.
Yeah.
Right. But I have on a jacket in the pocket square, so I'm casual.
Yeah.
Right. And this is how I am every day. And it's not so much just because of jazz, but I just found myself, the more I matured and evolved as a man and a person, jazz was always been around me, but I didn't like it. So I grew into it. And then once it appealed to me sonically, I still didn't know what was happening.
Right.
So I couldn't tell you one drum player from another. I couldn't tell you Train sound versus Dexter Gordon sound. But now I can. Now my ear is a little more developed. I kind of developed a palette for what I like. You know, so I just think that's what we want to do with our fan base.
Okay. So like with the magazine, you said you're going to cover fashion?
Yeah, we're going to cover everything cool. So we're going to have a fashion segment. We're going to have, remember in Playboy, you don't have to butt yourself.
Yeah. No.
Okay. But you know, I
actually read Playboy.
Right, I did too. Right. Yeah. So yeah, when I was a kid, I picked it up for the women. I wanted to see the naked women. Okay, you got me. But you know, I even liked the little comics and stuff.
Sure.
But they had the thing, I forget the name.
Great interviews in that magazine.
Right, the great interviews. And then they used to put you up on the latest stereo equipment, or where the hottest place to go travel, what club to party at. You know, it was, so we want to imitate. We don't have anything new planned, I don't think, but we want to take bits and pieces of things and bring it back and get the everybody, the masses, but particularly the young people, to start appreciating the arts more, and to be a little more polished and things like that, because there's plenty money going around, but it's like that class level and that appreciation level of respect. It's like when it's a show, right? You're not supposed to talk and make noise and all this kind of stuff, you know, especially if you're at jazz or opera or something like that, you know. If it's blues, you can be a little more rowdier.
Well, that blues shows, they taunt the audience.
Right. That's, you see what I'm saying? You can, and that's the thing. Like when I go to blues, I'm usually dressed a little different. I let my hair down a little. I'm dressed a little. I'm a little rowdier. The noise, people talking around with the performance doesn't bother me, but it pisses me off if I'm trying to appreciate a jazz set and it's somebody making noise, you know. So that upsets me.
No, I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah.
I think that's great. This magazine. That's. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like when you mentioned the Playboy, those sections. So is that's in the works?
It's in the works now, and the finishing touches are being put together. Like, so we want to make an impact really fast. So we have some other offerings that's coming with it. So once all that's done, which I expect mid-June, end of June, we're going to have a big launch party, and maybe here, and put some stuff with it. And it's going to be free. So only thing somebody has to do is hit the subscribe button, and they'll have it. And it's fully digital. And I love the platform we're using. I hope my team doesn't get mad, but it's technology. Like, you can embed the paper comes alive. So for instance, if we have, I didn't mean to do that. If we have a let's say a food commercial for a store or something, somebody wants to advertise, they can actually run that video
within the magazine.
So we can embed video, we can embed animation, we can run tickers. Like, if it's like we have merchandise. So while you're looking at the publication, reading the pages, it might flash, hey, buy a shirt now, get it for half off or something like that. So I love the technology of what you can do with it. And like, if you, in the old days, we're going to interview an artist. Okay, you might have a couple of pictures, and then you just read the question, the Q&A back. But with this delivery, you get to read all of that, but you can hit a button and hear the audio of the interview if you don't feel like reading.
That people love that.
Yeah, you can hear that.
Yeah.
And then maybe if it was a concert, you might see a little snippet of the concert or the artist. So, it's very interactive. And
do you have a name for the magazine yet?
Yeah, it's the WJZZ Vanguard.
Vanguard, nice.
Yep, Jazz Vanguard. Yeah. Look for it. It's going to be out, and we'll be doing something here for sure.
All right. Let's go back and let's talk about the station a little bit.
Okay.
So WJZZ.com. What is
okay, so how you tune in is WJZZ Detroit Radio.com.
Okay.
So what it is the world's oldest jazz station. We turned 66 years old in March of this year. Wow. It's the same legacy founded by Bell Broadcasting, Dr. Bell, Haley Bell, and Dr. Cox. Those two dentists, they were dentists here in Detroit, and they founded WCHB Radio first, which was the first black-owned radio station in the world. Then 4 years later, that was in 1955. Then in 1959, they founded WCHD, which was for jazz. And then they changed the call letters in 74 to WJZZ. And then it's iconic. Then the rest is history. So we keep the founding date for the 66 years.
Yeah.
But we celebrate it on the March date for WJZZ, when it actually became WJZZ for the call letter change. So that's how we do that. But it was family owned, and then they sold it to Radio 1, and Radio 1, I guess jazz took a dive, and they didn't think it was profitable, so they trashed it and left it out to public domain, and I decided to bring it back, right? So my intentions...
Smart move.
Yeah, my intentions at first, because I don't have a background in broadcasting, I was going to pursue it to get it back on, but through the FCC, and be terrestrial, be a FM station. And I just happened to... I was talking to somebody, and some college guys, some guys from MSU heard me talking about broadcasting, and they were in college at the time, I guess early 20s, and they asked me, why do you want to do FM? That's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they start telling me about, this is in 2015. And they start telling me about the future of the internet and what it was going to do for broadcasting and communications and this and that. And what got me was two things. One, it could go all over the world versus just being local in Detroit metro area, right? And then the economic of it. It was, I could get started immediately. I didn't have to apply for a license. I didn't have to wait. I didn't have to.
You just needed a website, right?
I didn't have to. And then the greatest part, what came later, is free. It's more artistic freedom. FCC has regulation about the language, about all kind of rules.
Right.
Power up, power down, how many artists you can play in rotation. It's like, so the internet lets you just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So what I do, I don't backseat drive. I let the host, basically, once you pick a lane, if you say, hey, I'm going to do smooth jazz, or I'm going to do big band swing, or I'm going to do avant-garde. Okay, that's your lane. Now play whatever you want. No PD. We still have a program director that's overseeing everything to make sure it's going. But
right.
And then we make announcements.
Who is that? If you want to.
Well,
you want to? No?
So I'm a
shout out to them or no?
No, because
right,
it's somebody. It's a person that's moonlighting.
Okay,
They're helping me, but they're part of a commercial station.
All right.
So they're helping me as a personal friend, helping me learn the ropes and everything, and training the team to be able to do it. So that's why I don't want to shout them out.
So so people know. So when you go to WJZZ Detroit Radio.com, you go there and you can go live.
Yeah, you hit the way right now. You go there, you hit the button, the play button, and you can hear whatever playing on the radio.
Right.
And
so there is something live.
It is.
Yes or no?
It's something live. The days and times that we have a DJ.
Okay.
So I'm trying to put them on to be 24 hours every day. So right now we only have, I lost count because we have some new people, but we have Joan Belgrave.
All right. Yeah,
Actually, she's on right now.
Yeah.
So Joan is Mondays 5 to 8, grooving with Joan, and so then on Tuesdays 5 to 8 we have Denise Edwards, who's a local accomplished jazz lady.
She's both of them. Friends with the cafe.
Yeah. So and then Wednesday from starting at 5 we have Laid Back Lounge with Robert Webb. That's smooth jazz. Then we have Prescription Jazz with Dr. Troy. He's a little bit eclectic. He plays a lot of overseas artists, and but he plays some straight ahead classics and things like that. Then we have Jazz Oasis on Wednesdays, cleaning up everything from 10 to 1 a.m. because everybody does 3-hour sets. So and Tim is a straight ahead jazz guy, Tim the Sheik Boykins. And then on Fridays it gets a little trippier. We have Cosmic Joy with Radio Raheem, and so everybody's here in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
But Raheem is from Brooklyn, and he's old school. He's 70 years old, but he's still got a lot of piss and vinegar, right? And he's a hardcore hip hop guy because he was there from the beginning. So he used to manage a bunch of artists like Houdini and stuff like that. But he's a jazz dude too. So he smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah.
and he's high on the air.
It's fantastic.
So, like I say, I don't backseat drive. I'm
Right,
like,
you know what I'm
just
doing, yeah.
it's about the music, right? And I'm not acting naive like, jazz artists don't smoke weed, didn't smoke. You know,
Yeah.
everybody smokes weed. I don't, but I don't. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
We can have some protocols that we stick to, so things kind of regulated. But he's a cannabis advocate.
Okay.
So
right.
I say, hey, do your thing, right? So he plays a lot of avant-garde. He plays a lot of funk jazz. He might throw in some Chicago or some Steely Dan. Like last week, I come in and he's playing Maggot Brain, and I'm like, come on, man, you know. So he said, okay. So he cut it short because it was on the guitar solo of Maggot Brain, which is a classic. I was like, but you can push the envelope, man, but it's got to at least be jazzy sounding. So
right.
yeah, so we'll play a few Sly Stone cuts. That's like kind of jazzy, but sometimes, you know, I guess when you're high, you go off the rail, you get into the music, and we got to pull them back.
You don't know where you're gonna go.
But it did. I left out a couple. So he's on Friday. Then following him, we have the sexy senior, Audrey Childress. So she's a sexy senior. She's 70 something, but she's still.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, she presents herself, and she's hip. And she plays some great music, and she's got a fan base of a lot of old dudes that's her, you know.
Yeah.
So we want to have something for everybody. So I have a new guy coming on in June. He's out of Long Island. Then I have a attractive lady, Selena Baker, who's in Florida, who's also a very accomplished jazz vocalist. She's going to be coming on the air. And then I have a guy in Belgium who will be coming on. So we
That's great.
we keep,
You're hitting it.
Yeah.
Around the world.
Yeah. So that's how we want to be, man. We
Okay.
want to be the biggest, baddest jazz brand in the game.
So otherwise, they're just playlists, like during the day.
Yeah. Whenever we don't have a live DJ on, then it's a playlist that myself and my PD, who's he's very accomplished radio man.
Okay.
And so we put together, curate this massive library. I think right now we have about 37,000 songs in there and about 10,000 albums. So and we can play, and everything is digital.
Yeah. And do you archive the shows?
Yeah,
so you can rewatch or re-listen to the.
The live shows play on Hear This, Tune In, the website, and then they archive on Spotify. So you can listen. If you missed the live broadcast, you can go and punch up the station on Spotify and hear any archive, whether it was like Joan tonight, somebody want to go back and listen, or they want to go back 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Then it's
Spotify,
doing that.
Yeah. This will be on Spotify too.
Okay, cool.
As well as
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a friend of technology. I vowed that I wasn't ever going to do social media. I was like really old school. But then I found out you can't be in business nowadays without using social media and the other technologies.
Especially in this business.
You won't be able to compete.
Yeah.
Nobody will know you. You won't be able to compete. So to everybody out there that's still dinosaurs saying you won't do it, or maybe you intimidated to use it, find somebody, probably a young person, and learn how to do it. Like, so I'm an engineer by default because the show had to go on sometimes and I didn't have the personnel. So I just did it myself. And
So you set all this up? You set the station up yourself?
I didn't set it up. You mean as
But-
far as laying everything out? The
Well, I mean,
equipment
as an
stuff?
engineer, you said you
No,
engineered it.
I operate a lot of the times. I engineer the podcast shows,
Yeah.
or
That's what I meant. I didn't
yeah,
mean like set, like
yeah.
build it. But,
So yeah, and it out of necessity.
yeah.
It was nobody else there on some occasions, so I had to do it. And so I learned certain stuff by trial and error from doing it. But I really prefer to be out making deals and doing that's
Yeah.
I'm not the office guy, and I'm not the engineer type of guy, you know.
Yeah.
I like doing the production and doing the deals. I like making stuff happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So you do a lot of events, you said, as well?
Yeah, we do a lot of concerts. So thanks to you,
Yeah.
we do things here. I call it a residency. We usually do stuff here once a month. We kind of took the winter off
Mm-hmm.
because we had relocated. We moved our
Oh, that's right.
station
Yeah.
headquarters, so we had to.
How is the new place?
It's super cool, but we're behind schedule. So I'm hoping to finish up the renovations mid to end of March. And that's the inside and out. So we have a big outdoor space that can accommodate about 400 people.
Oh.
So we're trying to get a stage built back there and grills and all of that.
So you're doing events at the station.
That's the plan. We haven't done it yet. We had one plan for May the 5th and got rained out. But the plan is to make it a community event space. Then we're here at the Aretha Jazz Cafe. We're getting ready to resume, so we'll be here on the 19th with Alex Harding and Organ Nation. And we're at Baker's, Cliff Bell. I got a thing going, relationship in Pontiac at the Pontiac Little Arts Theater. Do things with them. Then sometimes we go to Toledo. We do we set up our operation at the Toledo Jazz Festival. We have Schoolcraft, Michigan
Jazz Fest.
Jazz Festival. I don't know. We try to go.
Yeah.
We try to go everywhere. Trying to get into the Green Mill in Chicago, and that's the Chicago.
Yeah.
Audience is totally different than
It
Detroit,
is.
man. So
Completely different.
yeah, even the club owners and
Yeah.
promoters, it's like it's to me. I liked it. My lady friend, she thought it was really rude, and she was offended by the owner, how he,
Yeah.
he was telling people to basically shut the,
Yeah.
when it was time for the band. You know what I'm saying? It was just a Chicago thing, and I was like, I need to go back and be like that in Detroit. Because when you're saying, hey, okay, turn off your phones and keep it down, blah blah blah, they don't. You gotta kind of be a father figure. But I said I'm gonna be more aggressive, like in Chicago.
Yeah.
I tell them shut up, and you just, I'm just gonna go at them like that. And then the Green Mill, they don't take credit cards; it's all cash. And he's like, no, we don't have a goddamn ATM. Come with cash. we don't sell food.
Yeah.
So it's cool though. It's about what's happening. It's not about all this foo-foo yuppie stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, bring some cash. Everybody likes cash.
Yeah.
But we just being real progressive, man. Jazz has
Good.
to make a comeback, and we have to appeal to young
You're
people.
keeping it alive. That's fantastic.
And I try to put a lot of young artists on. So like at the station, I got to say this, and I want you to come over when we're done. We're turning the basement into like a speakeasy.
Ah.
So we'll have a riser to do live performances. We're wiring it up so we can stream out of there. Got a recording thing set up for those once in a lifetime jams. Chaz Miller, one of the founders of Artist Village here in Detroit.
Yeah.
he threw in with me to partner up. So he's gonna launch his nonprofit
This
radio
place must
station.
be huge.
No, it's an old house on West Grand Boulevard. It's a big place. It's how many? Let me see.
I mean, if you said it could hold 400 people outside.
Oh, no, the lot. Well,
Yeah.
that's because the house that was next door was torn down.
Okay.
And so that lot got bought and came with the
All right,
house.
yeah.
But it's a nice size house. So we operate soon to be 2 radio stations. Well, 3 when Chaz has his. It'll be 3 radio stations, 3 podcast stations, and lodging upstairs on the 3rd floor, and then like a little speakeasy down in the basement.
Be a busy place.
That'll be. I want it to be busy. I want it to be. So when all the creatives, not just the music artists, but painters, photographers, I want to make a safe spot for the creatives, the money people, and the patrons to all come together and mix and mingle and just jam, hang out anytime. The artist that's passing through town, I want them to know where it is, and it'll be a place where they're safe and respected. Nobody's gonna be doing the fan stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be an organic environment, and I wanted it to be old school. One, because I'm not gonna spend any money trying to make it the basement all fancy.
Yeah.
And I just like the vibe. I like the vibe of being like in your grandma's basement. And so it's a bar, it's a little kitchen, all that down there. We'll be able to seat probably 70, 75 people.
Do you have a proposed opening date yet?
I have a wishful date that's like July the 1st, and so we can go that 4th of July weekend, inside and out.
Yeah.
I figured that'd be a good time because everybody's in party mode.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, Cafe Chronicles is the name of the podcast. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen a lot of these. But
No, but I'm getting ready to start supporting.
It's all right. It's all right. So what we do is we ask the guests to chronicle a moment that you've had at the cafe.
Oh,
something
okay.
that pops in your head that brings back like a memory to something like maybe an artist that you saw or something, one of the events you threw here, or something that pops in your head. Just tell a little story.
Yeah, I have 2.
All right.
So one was we did the Ivan Benning.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ivan Benning here, and it was my first time checking him out. Right, we had talked on the phone and everything, setting everything up, but I had never saw or heard him play. Didn't know none of his music, none of that. But he just kept telling me, "I got you, man. I got you." So I said, "Okay." Right, and he killed it. Like his band was tight, and they killed it. Everybody loved them. They got a standing ovation, and it was just, I got so much good feedback, and everybody from beginning to end. I forgot who opened up for him that night. I think it was one of the young students from CSA or somebody.
Yeah.
But it was just everything, the music wise, was on point, and everybody loved it. Like they were just really into the show, and so that was gratifying to me. And he and I got cool after that, and he killed it, and we have it on tape. So I'm gonna try to, well, not try, but we're trying to develop content to put on the channel. So that'll be coming out in a minute.
Excellent.
Too.
Yeah.
Now the other one was a memorable chronicle point for me. We celebrated. It was I think it was our 65th birthday celebration we did here.
Yeah.
And everything was going wrong, man. Nobody were where they were supposed to be. Just it was just getting out of control, and I was super angry trying to keep it together, but a lot of the artists bailed me out. Like Mark Scott, lead singer for the Miracles, he had nothing to do with jazz, but he got up there and stalled for some time, doing his Miracle Motown thing. And
I remember this. Yeah.
And then Gwen Scales, she was supposed to just be chilling in the audience, but she went up on stage and she did some stuff to help me out, and a few others. Carmen Jackson, a local jazz artist who's doing very well in the UK with her music. So a lot of people bailed me out and saved the day to where it was an actual good show. It had a rough start, and when we look back on the tape, you can see the little rough starts. Yeah. But it ended up well. Yeah. So I always remember that because I was appreciative of the people who bailed me out.
Yeah, that's very Detroit.
Yeah,
that's very.
Yeah, so
it's something Detroit people do.
Yeah,
like help each other out like that.
Yeah. So that and it that was the first time that happened, and it hasn't happened since, because I learned a lesson from that to don't just rely on the script, have a backup in place, and a few other things that you can do to ensure certain things don't happen.
Yeah.
So as a promoter, producer, it tightened me up to, you got to go the extra mile and not be lazy, not take stuff for granted, not assume everybody's going to do what they supposed to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are my two standout moments.
Great.
But just about every show that we did here as WJZZ has been a good show. I don't think
it's a good fit, man.
Yeah, I don't think we had a flop show. We had that was a rough start, but it came out good. So
that's good. So you have before I let you go, talk a little bit about June 19th.
June 19th, Alex Harding and Organ Nation. So Alex Harding is a Detroit native. He's a baritone sax player, very accomplished. He is popular demand because he played for us before we moved the series here. It's the WJZZ Legacy Jazz Series. Now, when we start back on the 19th, that's going to be the 4th season of that. So we usually run like 10 months worth of shows, like so this is like the 4th year, 4th season. So we started out at the St. Regis Hotel, and Alex killed it over there.
Yeah,
and
he's fantastic.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
So everybody may know him. He plays a lot with Kahil El-Zabar and the Ethnic Ensemble. I hope I said that right. Kahil is a percussionist out of Chicago. And so Alex plays with him a lot. Then he has his band, Organ Nation, and then he fills in with a lot of big-time people. But he'll be here fronting Organ Nation, and he'll be here. The show starts at 7 p.m. And tickets only $25. So,
And where can they get the tickets?
Go on email. You can email me at wjzzproductions@gmail.com. That's a general box. You won't get solicitations. You can just leave your name and contact and say how many tickets you want, and then somebody will call you up and facilitate that. And then the Eventbrite will be up probably tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's we had some tech problems and dealing with Eventbrite, getting it going. But so
all right. And as soon as I get that Eventbrite link,
you
can get it on the arethajazzcafe.com.
I'll get it to you tonight.
Website. So.
Yeah. But that's going to be a great show. We'll have somebody open up for him. It's like a surprise. We never know who we're going to get.
So it's a surprise to you.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably know, as soon as I book them. But I'm saying we don't put it on the ticket. Usually we don't put it on the flyer because we usually get them close to the end. But we always try to have somebody open up, and it's usually an emerging artist or maybe an old vet that's getting back in the game, something like. But it's or a young person that's exceptional. So. But we'll have somebody opening up too. So it's a show for jazz connoisseurs. Yeah. So that's when you come to WJZZ, we let you know if it's a concert, then we expect you to, respect that. But if it's a party, then come and party. We tell you what it is. We'll let you know if it's a party. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. Yeah. So I hope to be able to come back here on the Chronicles and promote it and maybe introduce some of my team. Because like I said,
that'd be great.
We got Joan on the team, Denise on the team. Sky comes and goes.
Sure. Sky's been on the podcast.
Yeah, as her schedule allows. Yeah. Sky's the female version of James Brown. She the hardest working woman in showbiz.
Yeah.
Sky is on the stage, behind the stage, in front of the Sky is everywhere. Yeah. So, So I say, man. But I hope she brings her radio show back on WJZZ too.
That's right. She had
Sky had a podcast and a radio show.
Yeah.
So I hope her schedule allows her to come back because we need her and miss her. So Sky is a unique artist and a unique talent. So we can't like it's only one Sky. So that's
why I hear you. Yeah, I know. All right, Rodger. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
And June 19th, Alex Harding.
Alex Harding Organ Nation here at the Aretha's Jazz Cafe in Detroit, downtown.
All right.
June 19th, Thursday night, 7 p.m., $25. Get the tickets. Go to WJZZProductions@gmail.com or find some other way to contact me, or you can get on Eventbrite. You look for it on Eventbrite.
Yeah. Or they can leave a message on the below this site.
Yeah, or
below
contact.
YouTube.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
All right. Thank you very much, Rodger.
No problem.
All right.
I'll see you again soon.
All right.